You were not born to settle. You weren't built for average. Deep down, you already know it. You feel it when you waste a day. You feel it when you let yourself off the hook. And you feel it most when you look in the mirror and see the gap between who you are and who you were supposed to be. The world didn't steal your potential. It didn't rob you of greatness. It just waited to see what you do with your time, your mind, and your choices. And the truth is simple. You're either forcing yourself to grow or you're letting yourself rot. There is no middle. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another feel-good speech. What you need is to draw a line in the sand and say, no more wasting potential. Because that's what average is, the slow decay of who you could have been. It's the betrayal of your own ability. And most people are walking through life like they've got all the time in the world. They don't. Time doesn't negotiate. It doesn't wait for your fears to subside or for your doubts to disappear. It keeps moving. And every day you don't act with urgency, the opportunity of a lifetime slips further away. So you have to force yourself to become a winner. Not hope, not wish, not plan for someday. Force it, drive it, own it. The ones who win are not the ones who had the easiest path. They're the ones who got up when they didn't feel like it, who worked when no one was watching, who created momentum in the middle of chaos. Because waiting for perfect conditions is the fastest way to lose a decade. You must become the kind of person who moves forward anyway, who trains the mind to lead, not follow. Because the body listens to the mind. If you think like a victim, you act like one. If you think like a winner, you take control. Discipline is the only way out. That's not a motivational slogan. That's survival in this world. You either create structure or chaos creates it for you. Winners wake up on time. They don't snooze the alarm. They don't scroll for an hour and then wonder why they're behind. They make the morning theirs. They set the tone, and they don't let distractions take the wheel. Because focus is earned. It's not given. You build it by doing the right thing again and again, especially when it's hard, especially when you don't feel like it. That's where the power comes from. And that's what separates those who live on their terms from those who constantly react to life. You can't win if you keep reacting. You have to lead. You have to move before you feel ready. Clarity comes through movement, not thinking, not overanalyzing, action. So if you're tired of your own excuses, if you're sick of watching others pass you by, you've got one path: discipline. Daily, deliberate, non-negotiable action. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. But don't sit still. Don't rationalize delay. Don't wait for motivation to knock on your door. Motivation fades. Discipline remains. And if you train yourself to rely on feelings, you'll always quit too soon. But if you train yourself to rely on your standards, you'll rise when others fall. You'll push when others pause. And you'll build a life most people only talk about. That's the truth. Most people talk. Winners execute. Most people dream. Winners build. It's not magic. It's not mystery. It's consistency. It's showing up again and again until the world can't ignore you anymore. Until your results speak louder than anyone's opinion. Until you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. Because the results already do. But don't get confused. Winning isn't just about money or trophies. It's about being proud of who you are. It's looking yourself in the eye and knowing you didn't quit on your potential. It's knowing you gave it everything, that you lived with integrity, that you fought for your growth every single day. That's what it means to win. It's personal. It's spiritual. It's mental. It's emotional. It's not something anyone can give you. It's something you must claim. Through effort, through sacrifice, through grit. And the world respects that. Not your excuses, not your complaints, not your comfort zone. So if you want to live different, you must act different. You must become different. You must hold yourself to a higher standard. Not because someone told you to, but because you finally decided to stop wasting the gift of being alive, the gift of a healthy body, the gift of opportunity. You've got today. That's it. And if you don't use it with purpose, it becomes just another wasted day on the pile. Don't do that to yourself. Don't live like you've got forever. Live like you've got now, because you do. Success doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being consistent, from being real with yourself, from being honest about what's working and what's not, from being willing to adjust, to pivot, to get uncomfortable. Growth always lives just outside of ease. You don't need a new year, a new week, a new month. You need a new mindset. You need a deeper commitment. You need to stop treating your goals like suggestions. They're not. They're promises you made to yourself. And every time you break them, your self-respect shrinks. Your belief fades. Your momentum dies. That's why you need standards. Not moods, not vibes. Standards. Clear rules for how you live, how you think, how you act. Wake up early. Train your body. Feed your mind. Guard your energy. Handle your business. Respect your time. Keep your word. Every day. Not when it's easy, especially when it's hard. Because the person you become on the hard days is the person you need to win. You don't get stronger by taking shortcuts. You get stronger by carrying the weight, by doing the hard reps, by standing tall when life pushes you down. That's what builds character. That's what builds winners. And the world doesn't need more talkers. It needs more doers. People with fire in their eyes and purpose in their steps. People who don't need applause, who don't need approval, who don't need anyone to tell them it's possible, because they already decided it is. That's what being a winner means. You don't wait for permission. You give yourself permission. You don't hope for the right time. You make the time right. You don't negotiate with weakness. You fight it every day. And over time, you build a reputation with yourself. You become someone you can count on. And that's when everything changes. Because the greatest power in this world is belief. Belief backed by action. Belief built through proof. You start showing yourself that you can be the person you said you would be. You start keeping promises. You stop betraying your own goals. And something inside of you changes. You walk different. You speak different. You live different. And it's not about arrogance. It's about alignment. You become the kind of person who lives in truth, who doesn't need to pretend, who doesn't need to chase, because you're already becoming it, day by day, step by step. And yes, it will be hard, but that's the point. Easy never made anyone proud. Easy never built anyone strong. You're supposed to sweat. You're supposed to hurt. You're supposed to question yourself at times. But what you're not supposed to do is quit. Never that. Not now. Not when you've come this far. Not when you've seen the cost of playing small. Playing small robs you of joy, of peace, of power. So stop pretending you're fine with mediocrity. You're not. You were never meant for it. You're meant to lead, to grow, to rise. And that requires sacrifice. You can't keep the old habits and build a new life. You can't keep the distractions and expect deep focus. You can't keep the excuses and expect results. You have to give something up: comfort, laziness, distraction, weak habits. And in return, you gain clarity, power, energy, confidence, results. That's the exchange. You can't cheat it. You can't fake it. You earn it, one choice at a time, one day at a time. And those choices add up. They become your life. Not your dreams, not your intentions, your decisions. What you do when it's hard. What you do when no one's clapping. What you do when the world seems to ignore your effort. That's where champions are made. In silence, in solitude, in the grind that nobody sees. While everyone else is distracted, you're building. While they're resting on potential, you're sharpening your edge. Because you've decided you won't be average. You've decided you will not waste another year saying next time. You've made the quiet decision to rise. And that's all you need. You don't have to prove it to anyone yet. You don't need the crowd. You need your next step. You need that first hour of the day to be yours. You need to earn your respect in the dark. That's the difference. Winners earn their power in private. Then they walk into the world with presence. They don't talk about what they're going to do. They become it. That's what you must do. Become it. Breathe it. Live it. Not one day today, Because momentum doesn't wait for a perfect mood. It starts with a decision to stop wasting time and start doing what matters. Discipline is not punishment. It's self-respect. It's self-rescue. It's how you protect your energy from the world's noise. When you get clear about what you want, the world gets loud trying to distract you. That's when you need to lock in. You need to remind yourself, not everything deserves your attention. Not everyone deserves your energy, because your goals are sacred. Your focus is limited, and if you don't guard it, someone else will steal it. Social media, gossip, lazy people. They will drain you if you let them, and you'll wake up wondering why your goals feel further away. So you protect your peace by building structure. You wake up with intent. You train with intensity. You eat with purpose. You work with urgency. You sleep like a warrior. That's how you force yourself into growth. You don't dabble. You don't half-try. You commit fully. That's the truth. Most people never really commit. They say they want it, but they don't act like it. They don't build the habits. They don't make the sacrifices. They don't restructure their life to align with the outcome. So year after year, they stay stuck in the same cycle, wishing, hoping, never acting. But you're different. You're waking up to it. You're starting to feel the fire. The discomfort you feel isn't a curse. It's a call to rise, a call to finally do the things you've been avoiding, to stop living small, to stop hiding behind doubt, to stop blaming your past, your parents, your environment. That's over now. The blame ends here. From this moment on, it's all on you. And that's not a burden. That's freedom. When you take full responsibility, you take full power. You stop waiting to be saved. You stop wishing for a break. You become the break. You create the shift. Yes, it's heavy, but so is regret. So is shame. So is knowing you had more to give and didn't. That weight lasts forever. But the weight of discipline, the weight of growth, it makes you strong. You carry it now so you can move freely later. That's the trade. Do the hard things now, and you build a life that feels light, powerful, focused. Or choose ease now, and pay for it later in frustration, emptiness, and bitterness. That's the truth. Nobody wants to say out loud. But you know it. You've lived it. And now it's time to stop repeating it. The moment you stop negotiating with your lower self, everything changes. That voice in your head that says, you've done enough, when you know you haven't. Silence it. That urge to quit early, to skip the hard stuff, override it. That lazy part of you that wants to delay everything important, kill it. Every time you beat that voice, you build strength. You build the muscle that winners rely on, self-command, the ability to tell yourself what to do and follow through. That's how you build an unshakable life. Not through luck, not through hype, through mastery of your own mind. The results will follow. The success will follow. The money, the freedom, the respect, they come when you've earned them. And you earn them by becoming the kind of person who does what they say they will do, not once, every time. That's what separates a wish from a result. That's what builds belief. And once you believe, you become unstoppable. You move through fear. You move through doubt, because now you have a track record. You've proven it, not to the world, but to yourself. And that's all that matters. Because once you believe, the world starts to respond. Doors open. Opportunities appear. People feel your power. You don't have to chase anything anymore. You attract it by who you've become. But you don't get there by waiting. You get there by pushing. Every day. Through the tired days. Through the lonely days. Through the frustrating days. Because those days shape you. They test you. They show you what you're made of. And if you keep showing up, something happens. You begin to rise. Slowly at first. Quietly. But then the results begin to stack. Your life starts to shift. And one day you look around and realize, you're not who you used to be. You've grown. You've built. You've earned it. And nobody can take that from you. Not the critics. Not the doubters. Not the setbacks. Because now your strength is internal. It's built on effort. It's built on truth. And it keeps growing. Because you keep showing up. You stopped waiting for permission. You stopped hoping for easier. You decided to become better, and now there's no turning back. You've tasted progress. You've seen what's possible when you stay locked in. And now you want more. Not out of greed, but out of purpose, out of principle. Because the better you get, the more you can do, the more you can give, the more you can lead. And that's what it's really about. Becoming someone your younger self would be proud of. Someone your future self can count on. Someone who didn't fold under pressure. Who didn't quit when it got hard. Who didn't waste their time, their gifts, or their chance. That's the real win. That's what it means to force yourself to become a winner. You do it for you, for your peace, for your soul, for your legacy. And you don't stop, ever. You don't stop, because there is no finish line when you're building a life with meaning. There's no applause that matters more than the sound of your own footsteps on the path you chose. You wake up, and you go again. You put in the work, even when the reward feels far away. You stay disciplined, even when nobody's watching, because that's who you are now. You've decided, you've drawn the line. You're not who you used to be. You're not living on autopilot anymore. You're not chasing comfort. You're chasing growth. You're chasing truth. And the more you grow, the clearer it gets. This is what you were meant to do. You were meant to rise. You were meant to build something real. You were meant to become someone that doesn't crack under pressure. Someone who leads by example. Someone who holds the line even when it's hard. That's the real win. Character. Self-mastery. A spirit that can't be broken. And you don't get that by reading about it or talking about it. You get it by living it. You get it by showing up when it's inconvenient. You earn it every time you ignore the noise and do what needs to be done. Every time you say no to what weakens you, you say yes to what strengthens you. Success is not magic. It's a reflection. It mirrors who you are on the inside. If you build strength in your character, you'll build success in your reality. But the opposite is also true. If you let laziness, doubt, and distraction run your life, your results will reflect it. Life doesn't lie. It gives you what you've earned, not what you want. And if you're not willing to earn more, you stay stuck. You live in cycles. You make excuses. You settle. And maybe you convince yourself that this is just how it is. But deep down, you know it's not. Deep down, you know you were made for more. That voice doesn't go away until you answer it. And when you finally answer it, everything begins to change. Not because the world got easier, but because you got stronger. You stopped resisting the work and started embracing it. You stopped waiting for clarity and started taking action. And in doing that, you built something far more powerful than motivation. You built consistency. Motivation fades, but consistency, that's what reshapes your life. That's what builds trust with yourself. That's how you become someone people can depend on. Someone you can depend on. There's a confidence that comes from that. Not arrogance, certainty. The kind of certainty that comes from doing the hard things over and over until they're part of who you are, until you don't need to think about it. You just do it. Winners don't need hype to show up. They don't need perfect conditions. They operate from principle, from discipline, from values. They do what they said they would do, long after the feeling they had when they said it has faded. That's real strength. That's uncommon. That's what you're building, and don't expect everyone to understand it. Most won't. Most people are still negotiating with their distractions, still clinging to comfort, still trying to get the result without the responsibility. They'll look at your discipline and call it extreme. They'll see your consistency and call it obsession. That's fine. Let them stay confused. Your life will speak loud enough. Your results will show what commitment looks like. Your peace will show what clarity brings. Because the real reward of this journey isn't just success. It's who you become in the process. You become calm, focused, clear. You walk into rooms and don't need to prove anything. You've already proven it to yourself. You don't chase validation. You don't perform for attention. You move with purpose. And that purpose becomes magnetic. It pulls the right people, the right opportunities, the right moments into your life. That's when people start asking how you did it. And you'll know you did it one hard day at a time. You did it by showing up when it wasn't convenient. You did it by forcing yourself to grow when it would have been easier to stay the same. It's not about the hustle. It's about the standard. You raised your standard. You stopped lowering your potential to match your mood. You started lifting your behavior to match your vision. That's the shift. And once that happens, you stop living like a victim of your life. You start becoming the author of it. You stop reacting, and you start creating. You stop making decisions based on feelings, and you start making them based on values. You stop chasing what feels good now, and you start building what will feel great later. It's not glamorous in the beginning. It's gritty, it's boring, it's repetitive, it's lonely, but that's the price. That's the hidden cost of real change. Nobody talks about it because it's not exciting, but that's where greatness is built. In the moments no one claps for, in the hours no one sees, in the battles you fight inside your own head. And if you can win those battles consistently, everything else starts to fall into place. Not all at once, but piece by piece, choice by choice, habit by habit. And suddenly, you're miles from where you started. You're stronger, you're wiser, you're more capable. You look back, and the pain didn't break you. It built you. The losses didn't stop you. They refined you. The setbacks didn't define you. They trained you. That's the reward. Not just the trophy, not just the money, not just the win, but the resilience, the growth, the quiet power of knowing, I didn't fold, I didn't give up, I stayed in it, I forced myself to become someone better. And now you walk different, you think different, you move different, because you are different. And nobody gave it to you. You took it, you created it, and no one can take that away. That's what it means to become a winner. It means you outgrew your old excuses. You outlasted your fears. You broke the pattern. You created a new one. And every day you keep reinforcing it. Because the journey never ends. The path keeps going. And the only way to stay ready is to stay hungry. So you keep your hunger alive, not for attention, not for applause, but for progress, for growth, for that deep, unshakable sense that you are becoming everything you were meant to be. That every sacrifice, every delay, every early morning and late night is stacking up into something powerful. You're not just doing the work, you are becoming the work. You are becoming the type of person who doesn't just rise to the occasion, you set the occasion. You create the standard by how you live, not just by what you say. And in that, you gain something rare. You gain clarity, not just about your goals, but about yourself. You know what you stand for. You know what matters. You've felt the cost of compromise, and you're not willing to pay it anymore. You've lived through the wasted time, the empty distractions, the excuses that made you soft. And now you live on the other side, where every decision counts, where every day matters, where every action either brings you closer to your vision or pulls you away from it. There's no middle ground here. You either run your life or your life runs you. You either get focused or get consumed. You either rise with purpose or you sink into regret. And regret is no place to build a life. It's heavy. It's toxic. It's a slow rot that eats at your confidence. But discipline is freedom. Discipline gives you the strength to say no to what weakens you and yes to what sharpens you. It gives you control. It gives you momentum. It gives you peace because you know you're doing what needs to be done even when it's hard. And it's supposed to be hard. That's what makes it worth it. Anything that reshapes your life will demand something from you. It will demand that you sacrifice comfort. It will demand that you face your doubts. It will demand that you step into the unknown again and again. But that's where you meet your potential. Not in the safe zones, not in the familiar routines, but in the places that challenge you, in the places that stretch you, in the decisions that force you to grow. Because you can't become a winner by thinking about winning. You can't become strong by reading about strength. You become it by living it, by getting uncomfortable, by doing the hard things, especially when no one's watching. That's where your power grows. In private, in silence, in solitude, where the world can't clap for you and nobody's posting about it. That's where the roots go deep. That's where your mindset transforms. That's where you stop being a person who talks about change and start being a person who makes it happen. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you get sharper. Every time you finish something you started, you get stronger. Every time you push through the resistance, you gain more control. And that control over your mind, your habits, your energy, that's where real success begins. Because once you have that, you're not easily shaken. You're not fragile. You're not dependent on motivation or perfect timing. You are self-directed, self-governed. You are focused on what matters and ruthless about protecting it. This is what separates those who rise from those who stay stuck. Winners don't wait to feel ready. They start. They take responsibility for their time, their choices, their energy. They understand that every day is either a deposit or a withdrawal. And they choose to deposit, even when it's tough, even when it's boring, even when it hurts, because they know that compound discipline creates compound growth. And over time, that creates a life that most only dream about. And there's no secret, there's no shortcut, just a decision. One decision that you make again and again and again, to keep going, to keep building, to keep choosing the version of yourself that you're becoming over the version you used to be. It's not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming powerful in your own way, calm under pressure, consistent in the storm, focused through the noise. That's the power of discipline. That's the reward of the work. That's the result of refusing to back down. You don't need more hacks. You don't need more opinions. You need more ownership, more action, more days where you get up and handle your life like it's your job, because it is. Your life is your responsibility. No one's coming to do it for you. No one's going to hand you the win. And if they did, it wouldn't mean anything. Because the real reward isn't being given a victory. It's becoming someone who earns it. That's what lasts. That's what can't be taken. That's what makes you unshakable. So take the pain, take the pressure, take the weight, and use it. Use it to sharpen your thinking. Use it to fuel your progress. Use it to remind yourself that everything you want is still possible, but it's not promised. It has to be earned. Not just once, but every single day. And if you're willing to do that, to keep showing up, to keep leveling up, you will become someone nobody can stop. You will become someone who lives with clarity, moves with confidence, and acts with purpose. And when people ask how you did it, you'll know. You'll know it wasn't talent. It wasn't luck. It wasn't some shortcut. It was grit. It was time. It was the hundreds of silent decisions you made when no one was around. It was the days you showed up with no motivation and still delivered. It was the nights you stayed focused while the world was distracted. That's the difference. That's how winners are made. And when the world sees you, they'll only see the result. They'll see the confidence, the success, the power in your presence. But they won't see the internal battles. They won't see the mornings where your body ached, but you got up anyway. They won't see the days you wanted to quit, but pushed forward regardless. They won't see the self-doubt you silenced through action. That's the truth behind every winner. The work is quiet, the discipline is invisible, and the transformation happens when no one's clapping. That's why you must stay focused. Focused on the mission, not the moment. Focused on the vision, not the feelings. Because feelings are fleeting. They rise and fall like the wind. But purpose is solid. Purpose carries you through the days when everything in you wants to slow down. Purpose keeps you locked in when distractions scream for your attention. Purpose gives your pain a direction and your struggle a meaning. And once you connect with that purpose, once you burn it into your mind and heart, you don't just work hard, you work intentionally. You don't just get results, you evolve. And every time you evolve, the game changes. Not because the world changes, but because you're not playing from the same mindset anymore. You've elevated. You've outgrown your past limits. And now your new normal is someone else's dream life. Not because you're better than anyone else, but because you refuse to settle. You refuse to be casual about your potential. Too many people wait for someone to come fix their life. They wait for motivation. They wait for permission. They wait for everything to feel easy and convenient. But life doesn't work that way. And deep down, you know that. Nothing you've ever been proud of came easy. Nothing worth having ever showed up without sacrifice. And the people who keep waiting are the ones who stay stuck. But the ones who win, they act. They decide. They commit. Not once, daily. They show up for their lives like it matters. Because it does. And that commitment starts in the mind. That's the foundation. Before your results change, your thinking has to change. You have to stop thinking like someone trying to survive and start thinking like someone born to thrive. You have to stop reacting to life and start directing it. That means cutting out the mental clutter, the excuses, the stories you keep telling yourself about why it's not the right time, or why it's too hard, or why you're not ready. None of that helps you grow. None of that moves you forward. You have to train your mind to focus on what is possible, not what isn't. And you do that by mastering the small decisions. The moment you choose to get up when it's easier to sleep in, the moment you turn off the noise and sit in silence with your goals, the moment you say no to what doesn't align with your mission. These aren't just habits. These are declarations. You're telling the world and yourself that you're not playing around anymore, that you take your life seriously, that you're not interested in fitting in, you're interested in breaking through. That's where the winners live, in that space between discomfort and greatness. In that tension where most people back off, that's where they lean in. And it's not because they enjoy the pain. It's because they respect the process. They know that every hardship they face, every obstacle they overcome, is shaping them into someone stronger. They don't run from the resistance. They rise through it, because the resistance is the evidence that they're on the right path. If it's hard, that means it's worth it. If it's uncomfortable, that means it's changing you. And you'll have to let go of some things. You'll have to let go of your old identity, the one built on fear, on doubt, on indecision. You'll have to let go of your attachment to being liked, to fitting in, to playing small. You'll have to let go of your need for things to always be easy, because none of that serves you. What serves you is growth. What serves you is courage. What serves you is the ability to walk into uncertainty with your head held high and your actions aligned with your vision. And when that vision is clear, when it's alive inside of you, you'll notice something. You won't chase distractions anymore. You won't care about other people's opinions the way you used to. You won't need validation. You'll have something more powerful: direction. You'll know what you're building. You'll know why it matters. And that alone will give you a kind of power most people never tap into. Because once you know what you're truly fighting for, you won't give your energy to anything less. But it takes work. It takes repetition. It takes showing up day after day with intensity, with focus, with belief, even when progress is slow, even when no one sees it. Because if you stay consistent, the results will show. Maybe not today, maybe not next week, but they will. And when they do, you'll look back and realize it wasn't the big moments that changed your life. It was the small ones, the private ones, the ones where you stayed true to your vision while no one else was watching. That's how you force yourself to become a winner. You don't wait for perfect conditions. You create them. You don't beg for opportunities. You build them. You don't wish for more. You become more. You master your time. You elevate your thoughts. You discipline your actions. You hold yourself accountable to a higher standard, because you know your life depends on it. You know that greatness is not something you stumble into. It's something you grind for. It's something you rise into, one focused day at a time. And maybe no one claps at first. Maybe no one notices. That's okay. You're not here for the noise. You're here for the change. You're here to become someone who walks into a room and doesn't have to say a word. The energy speaks for itself. The discipline speaks for itself. The growth speaks for itself. And when people ask how you got there, you'll smile. Because deep down you'll know. You earned it. Every inch of it. You earned it by showing up when it was easier to quit. You earned it by making tough choices instead of easy ones. You earned it by refusing to be a victim of circumstance and choosing to be the master of your own destiny. This is not luck. This is not chance. This is the result of deliberate action combined with unwavering belief. You forced yourself to become a winner. Understand this: winners don't always feel like winners. Often they feel the exact opposite. They feel tired. They feel uncertain. They feel pressure. But winners learn to act anyway. They learn that feelings are temporary, but actions build character. You cannot wait to feel ready or motivated, because that moment may never come. What you can do is force the action, and as you do, the feeling will follow. Confidence is built through action, not before it. The mind is a battlefield. Every day you face a war within yourself, between your current habits and the person you want to become. The battle is real, but the good news is you are the commander. You decide which thoughts you feed, which ideas you believe, and which truths you live by. If you want to win, you must master your internal dialogue. When negativity creeps in, don't give it an inch. Replace doubt with certainty. Replace fear with resolve. Replace excuses with action. When you decide to force yourself, you accept responsibility for everything. Not just your successes, but your failures too. No blaming, no pointing fingers. Winners own their mistakes, learn from them, and move forward. This ownership is liberating because it means you are in control. No external force can dictate your future unless you allow it. The power is always in your hands. You just have to grasp it tightly. Part of forcing yourself to become a winner is accepting that discomfort is part of the journey. Comfort is the enemy of progress. It's a cage that keeps you small, but winners step outside that cage daily. They push through the pain, the resistance, the doubt. They welcome challenge because they know it's shaping them into something greater. Growth requires struggle. It requires sacrifice, and it demands persistence. Discipline is not a punishment. It is a declaration. A declaration that you respect yourself enough to do what needs to be done, even when you don't want to. It's waking up early to get your work done. It's saying no to distractions that steal your focus. It's committing to your goals so deeply that giving up isn't an option. Discipline is the bridge between your dreams and your reality. Your vision is your compass. Without it, you drift aimlessly. With it, every step has purpose. Winners create a vision so vivid and powerful that it pulls them forward even on the hardest days. They imagine not just the destination, but the person they must become to get there. This vision fuels their sacrifice. It lights their path. It is a constant reminder that the pain they endure today will birth a stronger tomorrow. Purpose is more than just a goal. Purpose is your reason for rising when the world tells you to stay down. It is your reason for grinding when the odds seem stacked against you. When your purpose is clear, distractions lose their power. Criticism bounces off like water on steel. Failure becomes a lesson, not a defeat. Purpose anchors you to your true north, so that no matter the storm, you stand firm. Gratitude may seem counterintuitive in a speech about forcing yourself, but it is essential. Gratitude shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance. When you appreciate what you have, you fuel your motivation to achieve more. Gratitude reminds you that every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. It grounds you in humility and keeps your hunger alive, without turning it into desperation. Adaptability is a hidden strength. Life will never go exactly as planned. Obstacles will arise. People will disappoint you. Markets will shift. Winners understand this and adjust. They don't break under pressure, they bend and find new ways forward. They remain fluid but focused, flexible but relentless. Adaptability means seeing change not as a threat, but as an opportunity to innovate and grow. Resilience is the backbone of every winner. It is the power to get back up after every fall. Resilience is forged in fire, in the moments when you feel broken but refuse to stay that way. It's the quiet strength that tells you, this is not the end. The world will test you. Life will knock you down. But resilience is your refusal to stay down. It's your commitment to rise, again and again, stronger each time. Learning is the weapon that keeps winners sharp. The moment you think you know it all is the moment you start to fall behind. Winners are always students. They read, they listen, they seek advice and apply it. They learn from their failures and the successes of others. Knowledge without action is useless, but knowledge with action becomes unstoppable power. Every choice you make today is a vote for the person you will be tomorrow. If you choose laziness, procrastination, and excuses, you choose stagnation. If you choose discipline, effort, and resilience, you choose progress. Force yourself to choose the latter every day. Make winning a habit, not a hope. Let your actions define your future, not your circumstances. To force yourself to become a winner means to accept the hard truth that no one will do this for you. No coach, no mentor, no friend, no social media post will change your life for you. The power is inside you. It's your fire, your fight, your willingness to do what others won't. This is your time. This is your life. Own it, command it, become the winner you were meant to be. No more waiting, no more wishing. It's time to force yourself, through the discomfort, through the doubt, through the struggle, to rise, to grow, to win. Because the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the decision to keep moving forward, no matter what. This is your moment to become unstoppable. You don't wait for things to get easier, you get stronger. You don't wait for the right conditions, you create them. You don't wait for motivation, you act despite the absence of it. Winners don't wait for the wind to be favorable, they adjust their sails and row harder. This is how you force yourself to become a winner. Hold your head high, focus your mind, steady your heart, move your body, take the next step, and then the next. Keep going, because on the other side of this effort is the life you've always dreamed of. Not by chance, not by luck, but by the force of your will and the power of your choices. Force yourself to become a winner. Force yourself to rise. Force yourself to succeed. Your future is waiting, and it honors those who refuse to quit. This is not a suggestion. This is a command to your soul. Take it seriously. Live it fiercely. Win relentlessly. The life you want doesn't come by accident. It comes from intention, from decisions made when no one is watching, from sacrifices made when no one is cheering. Force is not aggression, it's inner strength. It's what makes a person do what's right instead of what's easy. Most people will never live the life they dream of because they never force themselves to do what they know they must. They wait, they hope, they hesitate. But winners, they move, they act, they decide. You've got to get brutally honest with yourself. Take a hard look in the mirror and ask, am I doing what it takes? Am I giving it everything I've got? Or am I just getting by? That question separates the talkers from the doers. Because deep down, you know when you're playing small. You know when you're avoiding the hard work. You know when you're choosing distraction over discipline. And every time you do, you feed the part of you that wants to stay average. But every time you choose action, focus, and discipline, you feed the part of you that wants to rise. You don't need more time. You don't need more resources. You need more resolve. Because with resolve, you find a way. You learn what you don't know. You show up when it's raining. You grind when you're tired. You prepare when everyone else is sleeping. Resolve is what pushes you to get uncomfortable every single day. Winners live there, in the discomfort zone, because they know that's where life gets real. Look around. Everyone is distracted. Everyone is chasing quick wins and instant gratification. But if you want to win, you must do what most people are unwilling to do. Delay pleasure, silence noise, and put in consistent effort over time. That's not flashy. It's not glamorous, but it works. Small wins compounded daily lead to big results. Don't let the pace fool you. Consistency is a superpower. It is the quiet force that builds empires, transforms bodies, and rewires minds. You must rise above your emotions. You won't always feel like grinding. You won't always feel like showing up. But your feelings are not facts. You're not weak because you feel tired. You're not lazy because your mind wants to quit. You're human. But what separates winners is that they act in spite of those feelings. They've trained themselves to lead with commitment, not comfort. They follow through on their standards, not their moods. Every day is a new chance to take ground, to move forward, to leave behind the version of you that keeps playing it safe, the version of you that hides behind fear, the version of you that settles. That version has to die for the real you to live. The powerful, disciplined, focused you, that version is waiting on the other side of your excuses. You can't get there by staying the same. You get there by forcing growth, by forcing change, by forcing yourself to win. Don't lower your standards to match your current reality. Raise your behavior to match your vision. Act like the person you want to become, and the transformation will follow. Talk like them, walk like them, make decisions like them. That's how you close the gap between where you are and where you want to be, by refusing to accept anything less than your best. Winners don't negotiate with excuses. They don't reason with fear. They don't justify mediocrity. They recognize excuses as lies and replace them with action. They recognize fear as a signal to move forward, not retreat. They recognize mediocrity as a trap that steals dreams. You cannot become a winner by thinking like everyone else. You must think for yourself, believe in yourself, and move with clarity and urgency. You won't always get applause. You won't always see instant results. You won't always be understood, but none of that matters. Your mission is not to impress, it's to improve. Your mission is not to compete, it's to conquer. Conquer the laziness, conquer the doubts, conquer the distractions. This life will test your patience, your focus, your will. Good. That's how winners are made. You are not here to be average. You are not here to live a life of regret. You are here to push, to strive, to evolve. You were born with potential, but potential means nothing without action. You've got the ability, you've got the opportunity. Now all that's left is for you to prove it to yourself. Nobody else needs to believe in you as much as you do. Not your friends, not your parents, not your peers, just you. When you believe deeply enough, you make it happen. And even if you don't fully believe yet, act like you do. Take the steps anyway. That's how belief grows. Not before action, but because of it. Let others coast. Let others complain. Let others stay comfortable. But you choose the hard road. You choose to sweat now so you don't bleed later. You choose to suffer for a few years so you can live fulfilled for the rest of your life. That's the trade. That's the cost. And it's worth every second. People will doubt you. They'll question your path. They'll mock your discipline. Let them. Let their doubts become fuel. Let their small talk strengthen your focus. Let their limitations remind you of your duty to rise. You are not doing this for approval. You are doing this for freedom, for fulfillment, for mastery. At the end of the day, it all comes down to one thing. Will you do what's required, or will you do what's easy? That decision will define your entire life. Not talent, not luck, not opportunity. Just that one choice, day after day after day. If you want more, be more. If you want growth, embrace pain. If you want respect, earn it. If you want freedom, fight for it. If you want power, build discipline. If you want to win, force yourself to live like a winner. No more pretending. No more waiting for permission. No more being a prisoner of old habits. This is your time. This is your moment. Step into it with force. Live with urgency. Train like your future depends on it, because it does. Think like a leader. Move like a warrior. Work like your life is on the line, because it is. This is how you force yourself to become a winner. And once you start, you don't stop. Not when it's hard. Not when it hurts. Not when it's slow. You keep going. You keep showing up, because you've made the decision, the final, unwavering decision, to win. No matter what. Every winner you've ever admired made that same decision. They weren't handed the trophy. They weren't born with a secret advantage. They just decided they would no longer accept weakness from themselves. They refused to let another day go by where they were ruled by laziness, by doubt, by fear. And that's the level you need to get to. Where you are sick of the lies you've told yourself. Where you're done negotiating with your comfort zone. Where you've had enough of living below your potential. Because until you reach that level of urgency, you'll keep making excuses. You'll keep waiting for the right time. You'll keep hiding behind distractions and saying, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow doesn't build champions. Today does. Right now does. You become a winner the moment you stop waiting and start working like you're already behind, like you're running out of time. Because you are. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to start. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to move. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates belief. And belief creates results. But none of it happens until you stop living in your head and start building with your hands. Discipline is built in action. Confidence is built in action. Growth is built in action. No book, no video, no advice can do the work for you. Only you can. The pain you avoid by being lazy will come back stronger as regret. That's a pain that never leaves. The regret of knowing you could have gone further. You could have done more. You could have been better. But you didn't. You gave in to comfort. You gave up when it got hard. And that pain is sharp. That pain will visit you when you're alone. So if you're going to suffer, suffer for something worthwhile. Suffer for your vision. Suffer for your future. Suffer for the discipline that leads to greatness. You were not built for ease. You were built for endurance. You were built to withstand challenge, to rise above failure, to overcome doubt. That's where your power is. And you'll never feel that power if you keep playing it safe. Playing it safe keeps you hidden. Playing it safe keeps you stuck. Winners don't play it safe. They bet on themselves. They show the world what's possible. When a person goes all in, you won't always see the results right away. That's the trap most fall into. They want the reward without the repetition. But real change doesn't announce itself. It creeps in, slowly, quietly, through thousands of small choices, through hours of lonely work, through early mornings and late nights, until one day you wake up and you've become someone different, stronger, sharper, unshakable. That's how winning feels. Not loud, not fast, but earned. And the beauty is, you get to choose that path at any moment. You can decide right now that from this day forward, you will no longer tolerate weakness from yourself, that your actions will match your goals, that your effort will match your ambition, that you will stop living below your standards. Because until you hold yourself to a higher standard, no one else will. Every minute you waste, someone else is using. Every excuse you make, someone else is crushing. Every shortcut you take, someone else is taking the long road, and they will beat you. Not because they're better, but because they're more committed. That's the real race, the race against yourself. Can you outwork who you were yesterday? Can you focus longer than you ever have? Can you stay consistent when nobody claps for you? That's what builds winners. Not applause, not likes, just relentless action. You've got a fire inside you. You've felt it before. It's the voice that whispers, you can do more. The spark that pushes you when you want to quit. That's not just hope. That's truth. That's your potential calling you higher. Don't ignore it. Feed it. Push it. Listen to it when everything else in life tells you to stay still. Because that voice, if you follow it, will lead you to greatness. This world doesn't need more noise. It needs more people who live with conviction. More people who say, I will not be moved. More people who lead themselves before they ever try to lead others. That's your responsibility. Not just to win, but to become the kind of person who earns it, who deserves it, who sustains it. There's a reason you're hearing this now. It's not random. It's not a coincidence. It's a call, a reminder. You have more in you. You have more work to do. Don't waste another second trying to convince yourself to move. Just move. Just go. Just commit. Not halfway, not part-time, all in, every single day. Because once you've made that decision, truly made it, everything else becomes clear. The path gets narrow. The distractions lose their power. The excuses dry up. And all that's left is action. Relentless, focused, purpose-driven action. That's how winners live. That's how legacies are built. And that's how you will become one of them. And don't mistake quiet progress for failure. You might not see the rewards today. No one might notice what you're building in the dark. That's not your concern. Your concern is to keep going, keep showing up, keep doing the work that matters even when no one's clapping. Because real winners don't perform for attention. They perform for growth. They don't chase validation. They chase standards. High ones. You want to feel different? You want to walk through life with that grounded confidence, that sharp focus, that quiet power, then build it. Every early morning when you'd rather sleep. Every workout when your body says no. Every choice when distractions call your name. That's where confidence comes from. From knowing that you did what you said you would, no matter how hard it got. Your life will start to change when your standards change. When average is no longer acceptable. When good enough feels like a step backward. When you look at your effort and know without a doubt that you gave everything. That's when you'll start walking different, speaking different, thinking different. Because you'll be carrying something real, earned power. Look around. Most people settle. They settle for jobs they hate, for lives they complain about, for excuses that protect their comfort but cost them their future. Don't be like most people. Don't live at half your capacity. Don't die with your greatness still locked inside. You weren't born to settle. You were born to rise, to stretch, to struggle, to climb, and to win. It won't be quick. It won't be easy. And it won't always feel fair. But none of that matters. Because you're not here for easy. You're here for growth. And growth demands struggle. Growth demands risk. Growth demands discomfort. That's the toll you pay for greatness. And every time you pay it, every time you push, when it's hard, stay focused when it's boring, and stay consistent when it's thankless. You get closer to the life you were meant to live. And I'm not talking about just achievement. I'm talking about becoming someone you're proud of, someone you respect, someone you admire. That's what matters most. Because if you build the right habits, the results will come. But even before they do, you'll feel something shifting inside you. You'll feel stronger, more focused, more alive. And that feeling, that's proof you're on the right path. There's no perfect moment coming. No magical feeling that's going to sweep over you and make it easy. There's just this moment and this choice. Are you going to keep doing what you've always done? Or are you going to rise? Are you going to finally start doing what you know you must? People will doubt you. That's fine. People will misunderstand you. Let them. You're not here to convince anyone. You're here to prove it through action, through results, through transformation. Talk is cheap. Excuses are cheaper. But action, real, disciplined, focused action, that's rare. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. And when you start showing up like that, not once, but day after day, everything begins to change. Your energy changes. Your habits sharpen. Your vision clears up. And opportunities start to appear where there were none before. Not because life suddenly got easier, but because you got better. Winners don't wish. They prepare. They don't hope. They build. They don't coast. They climb. And that mindset, that drive to earn, to grow, to become more, it doesn't happen by accident. It comes from deciding that average will never be enough again. You have to stop negotiating with the weaker version of yourself. The version that wants comfort, that wants distractions, that says, take a break. That voice isn't your friend. It's your enemy. And every time you give in, you feed it. But every time you fight back, every time you say, no, I'm going to do it anyway, you weaken it. And over time, you kill it. That's how you win the war inside. Not all at once, but day by day, battle by battle. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to build your dream for you. No one is going to push you forever. You have to be your own fuel, your own fire. You have to take ownership of every choice, every failure, every success. That's what it means to become a winner. Not just to have goals, but to live like the outcome depends on you, because it does. When you live like that, you change. You become more intentional, more focused, more disciplined. You stop blaming others. You stop waiting, and you stop tolerating anything that pulls you away from your vision. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack commitment. They start strong, but they fade. They talk loud, but they quit early. You have to be different. You have to stay when others leave. Train when others rest. Focus when others scroll. That's what makes the difference. Not a big speech, not a lucky break, just the courage to keep going. Long after the feeling is gone. You might not see progress every day. That's okay. What matters is that you're moving. You're showing up. You're becoming stronger even when it doesn't show on the outside yet. Keep doing that long enough. And one day they'll all ask how you did it. They'll call you lucky. They'll say you had something special, and you'll smile, because you'll know the truth. You forced yourself to become a winner. You kept going when everything in you said stop. You showed up when no one was watching. You worked in silence. You suffered in silence. You doubted yourself in silence, but you never gave up. You didn't need the world to believe in you. You learned to believe in yourself. And that changed everything. Because the greatest kind of power is quiet. It doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be praised. It's the kind that walks into a room and doesn't say a word, but you feel it. That's what you become when you do the hard things. That's what you earn when you force yourself to stay the course. You become calm under pressure. You become dangerous in your discipline. You become sharp in your thinking. You become clear in your purpose. And when life throws chaos at you, you don't flinch, because you've trained for this. You've built your foundation, brick by brick. You didn't take shortcuts. You didn't cheat the system. You didn't hope your way into strength. You earned it, and no one can take that from you. That's what this is about. Not fame, not applause, not recognition. It's about becoming someone who is built to last. Someone who doesn't fold under stress. someone who leads by example, someone who can be trusted because they've paid the price. The road to becoming a winner is lonely. It's full of sacrifices no one claps for. People will misunderstand your discipline. They'll call your focus extreme. They'll ask why you're so hard on yourself. But when the results start showing, when your life begins to reflect the work you put in, those same people will want what you have. And that's when you'll understand. You were never chasing approval. You were building a standard. This is not a game. This is your life. And every moment you live without pushing yourself is a moment you can't get back. So make it count. Make it meaningful. Make it strong. Don't just exist. Build. Don't just survive. Rise. Don't just wish, act. Don't just dream. Earn. There is nothing standing between you and the winner you're meant to be. Except work. Not more motivation. Not more talking. Just work. Show up again. Train again. Focus again. Improve again. And again. And again. One day you'll look in the mirror, and you won't see the old you anymore. You'll see the person you always knew you could be. Strong. Disciplined. Clear. Capable. Unshakable. That's the reward. Not just success, but the person you become chasing it. So decide now. Before the day ends. Before another year passes. Before another opportunity fades. Decide that you will not spend the rest of your life wondering what could have been. Decide to go all in. To stop chasing comfort. To stop needing permission. To stop waiting for signs. You don't need another sign. You need a decision. You need a standard. And you need action. It starts now. Force yourself to become a winner. And never look back.